Hey everybody, this is Kirk, and this is my co-host Maggie, and we're at another edition of Beyond the Roles, which is powered by Heat Transfer Oil. This is where we dig into more than just the business side, but the personal side of partners, vendors, or whoever we have.
To give you guys some context, if you're not familiar with, we call partners, the words we use partners, is like our affiliates, our influencers, because we really are in this together to grow, to learn more, so we see it a little bit deeper than just influencing. So today we have Angie and Cori. You guys, if you could give us a little bit, or like your elevator pitch of like who you are, a little bit of your background, stuff like that.
Angie Holden. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Okay, Angie Holden. I have a YouTube channel and a blog, and I primarily focus on tech-related crafts, so Cricut machines primarily, sublimation printers, different types of printers, and getting into a little bit of laser crafting lately, so sort of the technical side of crafting, and of course heat transfer is part of that.
And my elevator pitch is pretty much the same as Angie's. My blog is called Hey Let's Make Stuff. I also have a YouTube channel, and I do crafting tech, so Cricut, laser, sublimation, and heat presses.
Well, we're happy to have you in Fargo.
Yes,
again,
before we freeze over.
Yeah, it's probably, we love it when you get here and it's a little bit colder, so fingers crossed, no snow, no nothing, but again, happy to have you here. How did you get involved with Heat Transfer Oils?
Actually, you approached me, so I got an email, probably a cold call from Brooke, actually, and just kind of introduced you, and the thing that set it apart, so I get tons of pitches, and the number one thing that set it apart was she was like, let's jump on a call and talk. And once I did that and like really got to know her, I was like sold from that point forward. So it like set it apart from the rest of the pitches I get, that you really wanted to partner together. So yeah, so that's how I kind of got involved in the whole thing.
So props to Brooke.
Props to Brooke.
Yeah.
We love Brooke.
And I think I got to know you guys through Angie a little bit, because we were doing our sublimation camp, and she's like, let's partner with Heat Transfer Warehouse for that, and I said okay, and then we came to Wallapalooza, and I was like, I love them. They are amazing people, so
Awesome.
yeah.
So from anybody, if you guys look up these gals, you guys, like you said, you have a ton of tech kind of backgrounds or stuff you work with. Do you guys, coming from, we have all those equipment in the back, do you guys name your equipment? And if not, do you need help naming it?
You do. I don't. But I think you do. Don't you name your glow forges?
Oh yes, I did name my glow forges. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my big glow forge is named Lumos, like from
Nice Harry Potter. There you go.
Okay.
And then my small glow forge is named Lux.
Because we have the rhinestone machines in the back. We have Big Betsy, Tiny Tim. We have 2 Colorado printers, so we named them different cities. Because it's like, it's so much easier, and you're like, this one's acting up, to give it a name of like, Denver needs to get it together, or something like that. So
I definitely name my printers though. So the funny story is, first night in Fargo, and my son is like texting me trying to print something because we have a million printers, and like, which one is it, Mom? In the list. So I need to be, this one is what you print pictures on. This one is just for black and white.
It makes them so much more personal. You put the name on it, and you're like, all right, what's going on with that? And you're like, what? You're like,
Yeah.
So, but it does make a lot more sense. So what did you find? Now you've spent a little bit more time here in Fargo. Have you found anything interesting or unique since you've been here in Fargo?
So this is our 3rd visit. I feel like I find a little bit of something interesting every time.
I really enjoyed staying. We're staying kind of downtown, sort of by the college.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that downtown? I don't know the areas, but sort of in the older part of town, with the big trees, and the fall weather is just so beautiful right now. And it's just been, we're staying in a little Airbnb, and it's
nice.
been like, yeah, it's just been really pleasant.
Yeah, first time in the fall too. We were going to squeeze this trip in before the snow. I'm just going to be honest.
Absolutely. No one wanted to.
So we were squeezing the trip in, but yeah, definitely like the fall colors and everything. It's been this time perfection. And I feel like we are like rotating back to the same restaurants because the food is so good.
I heard that. I'm surprised at how many people actually do say that about here. So it's
so
really
good.
fun to hear.
Everywhere we've eaten, I feel like, I'm like, man, these just great restaurants here.
Yes.
Yeah, especially the downtown area has a ton of really
Excellent.
cool stuff. Do you guys ever think you would say like, oh, it's my 3rd time going to Fargo?
100%. And the second time this year.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
So, no, absolutely 100% not. You told 20-year-old me I would be spending a week in Fargo, North Dakota, filming some content with a printer. She would have been like, You did what now?
I'm just, doing a little research for the show. You guys both live you live in Washington, so beautiful area, and then you said you live on a farm.
Yes.
So what, like, outdoor activities do you guys like to do?
We love where we live. So we live in Bellingham, Washington, which is about as far north and as far west as you can get. We're about 30 minutes from the Canadian border on the bay, so we're just right in the top left corner of the United States. And it is a very outdoorsy place. So we love to hike, we kayak, bike. We just spend, our summers are just 75, 80 degrees all summer. It's just a beautiful place to be outside in the summers. And then it rains all winter, but whatever.
Sounds like Brooke needs to get another visit on the book. So that's
We were talking about it.
yeah.
And I would say in Tennessee, summer water sports would be a top thing because it's so hot. And then we have a second home on the Tennessee River. So we spend a lot of time there, boating, water sports, all that type of thing. I am not a fishing person, but I will sit there and read my book while someone else fishes. That's fine.
There you go. So I don't have patience for that.
Yeah, no.
There's just no guarantee it's gonna happen.
No.
Yeah, the hours spent, you're like, how much you get? One? You're like, we were gone for 3 hours.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah. I'll read my book while you do that.
yeah. So, but no, the Angie's beautiful place out there.
Thank you.
Nice farm, everything else, and I thought it was I love the country part and just be able to walk and go wherever we wanted. So,
Yeah.
So beautiful place out there.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll put Cori on the list now.
I know I'm like way far out of the way, but it's worth it. It's
It's not too bad. It's how far from Seattle?
an hour and a half from Seattle.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Just Google a marathon that's there, and you can double dip.
Yeah, I know.
It's fun.
There is.
Or a concert.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe.
Lots of those in Seattle.
The only
See?
concert I go to is Modest
I
Mouse.
was gonna name drop the Modest
They've
Mouse.
got to come
Yeah.
to Seattle.
Yeah.
Eventually
Yeah,
it will. So we go once a year, and it's Modest Mouse. So we've been to the most weird places to go see them. So it's
That's
kind of
awesome.
fun. So, but yeah.
Are you guys concert people at all? Because being
I-
Tennessee, I mean, you're
I am not.
No?
And you would think country music, but I am not.
I'm not a huge concert person, but we actually went to our first concert since our kids were born. Just a couple of months ago, we went to the Seattle Zoo and saw a concert there. They have a big, it's a concert at the zoo. They have a big venue there. We saw
wow.
a band called Nickel Creek, and it was wonderful because you just bring your lawn chairs and
Oh, nice.
they've
Oh,
got,
that's nice.
food
And
trucks
theater type
and
stuff.
yeah, it's just really lovely. And I'm like, can I see all my concerts at the zoo? This is my new favorite thing.
Yeah, that
So I had a
sounds
friend
great.
get married at a zoo. I've never heard of a concert at a
Yeah.
zoo.
That sounds fun. Just briefly on business, like what's kind of one phrase or word you just say to tell people that are getting into crafting, but also maybe getting into business, wherever else, like, hey, this is, something to think about. What should I do? One sentence advice. So,
I have to think about it for a second.
I feel like when you first started, the first thing I tell people is to be patient, especially with crafts like sublimation. I feel like there's such a learning curve and people give up. But once you get those first perfect projects, you're hooked, right? So I feel like I tell a lot of people to like be patient, get some test fabric, test things, and then sort of dive in.
I think sublimation's really satisfying in the
It's
end.
so satisfying.
Especially
yes.
if you can get it right.
Yes.
I think lately I've been telling people to read the directions. I realize this is such a basic thing, but like the number of people we have some pretty big Facebook groups for some of the things that we do, and the number of people who dive into something like sublimation or laser or something without doing their research or reading, just like
Watching a video.
watching a video, right? Like, what is
I
your
can help you
What
out.
is your pressing sandwich? Like time, temperature, pressure, like all of these basic things. They're like, I pressed this for 15 seconds and it didn't transfer. And you're like, did you read anything about sublimation?
Did you just call it a sandwich?
Yeah,
What did you,
sublimation sandwich.
Sublimation
Someone
sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't know.
new terminology.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Your
sublimation.
protective paper on the bottom is like your
Oh,
bread.
got it.
And then you have the meat of like your blank, and then like your
And cover.
cheese of like the print,
You might-
and
oh
then
my gosh.
protective paper on the top.
But you
like
might have
their
something
bun.
else in there. You got like a little extra Nomex pad or like
Yeah.
a green pad in there.
So you make your
Sometimes you
sandwich.
gotta flip them
Do you need
around.
to like cover it, like TM that something?
You put your whole sandwich.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's a panini press,
sometimes I take my protective paper and I just wrap it over the top,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I just made a sublimation taco this time.
There you go. Half sandwich. Oh, yeah. So.
Well, and then also that's so important though.
It
If you
is.
don't realize when you're doing sublimation, it could transfer into what you're doing.
Into
And you're
your
like, why is
dress.
this print on
Yeah.
this shirt?
Yeah.
Or on this item?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Just reading, like
Did I just really just stain my whole heat press?
Yeah.
You guess
So
you
if
did.
you would
Yes,
have made
did.
your sandwich, you would not have.
Don't Don't craft hungry. That's
There you go. But also, I think it was directions. You just mentioned that, and it's like we're all terrible. Everybody's terrible at reading directions.
We are.
yeah.
I would
I'm
much
bad
rather
at it
watch a
too.
video
But
than read
even
it.
like people aren't watching videos. I don't know. I just feel like you'll do so much better if you just take that little bit of time, and you'll waste a lot less money. That's the other thing is people waste a lot of money. You know, one of my big things that I'm always telling people to do is, especially with sublimation, is to go buy some cheap polyester fabric and test your prints. Like just make sure they look good before you put it on an
before you go to the
expensive
final
tumbler
product.
or
Yeah.
something. You know,
Or
I've
slate.
ruined
Please
8
don't dive
tumblers.
into
Yeah.
slate
Oh,
first.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always even tell people that too, if like they're having an issue with any type of pressing, see if it's that item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try on
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
If it works great on your fabric and then your mug you bought from Walmart isn't
Right.
working, it's probably the
It's
mug.
the mug. Yes.
You know,
Or people
try
are like,
to
I ruined
eliminate.
eight tumblers because the color's not right, and I'm like,
Stop.
please stop.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Ooh, I've
Yeah.
never stopped it for
I
2
would say, like, at what point do you think about stopping?
Yes.
You know,
Don't
it's
have
like,
any
there's
more
something
tumblers.
wrong. Let's talk about this. So, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's not working. I'm like, no, we just got to work through
Yeah,
it.
you
And
gotta-
follow
or you gotta
some
find the-
follow some directions, and they get impatient. They don't want to wait a minute,
Yes.
2 minutes, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
so there we go. Follow directions.
Follow
Follow
directions,
directions. Watch the videos.
Basic.
Watch their videos, but follow directions. And I agree with it because we'll be installing something at home, and Brittany just goes, "Did you read the directions?" I'm like, "Why?"
I got this.
And then finally, she's like, "You better read directions." I'm like, "All right, fine." So let's get to the fun stuff. We're just gonna do a little rapid fire, some questions, and back and forth. Each both can answer both of them. Both answer, and start with this favorite food.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Okay. Stone dessert.
I would say there's a specific chocolate bar I eat, and a lot like my friends call it the crack chocolate because I travel with it. It is hazelnut butter with chocolate surrounding it, and it's from a company called Who. It's just
yep.
HU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
good.
good. Yeah, so I travel with my crack chocolate.
Yep. I used to get those quite a bit. I think they used to be at Target. I don't know if they are.
We just
We
went
just
to
got 'em at
Target, and they're at your Target.
Oh, they are there. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I was just in the
Yes.
wrong aisle because I was looking for them too. 'Cause, yeah.
Yes.
Especially like always that little treat like after lunch. I always have that little
Yes.
chocolate.
Yes.
That's frozen. I have the
So good.
what is it called? True? Is it True Fruit? It's the frozen berries that are dipped in
Those
chocolate.
are very
I have
good
that
too.
in the freezer here.
Yes, those are good.
That I have those after lunch with the raspberries.
Yes.
Another thing is you can open up your Target app and help you find it in the store. So.
I love that. I do
I
that.
don't think I knew
Fun.
that was a thing.
Oh yeah,
I-
it tells you the aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
So I'm like,
These
where
are
is this? And I'm like, come in a different Target traveling. I'm like, oh hey, there we go. Now I know what
It
I
is
want
nice.
to.
If
Learn
it's, yeah,
something.
if it's in store, it'll
Yeah,
have the
if
aisle.
it's in store, you're like, oh, go here.
Yep.
So,
Awesome.
That's helpful.
favorite show or favorite comfort food?
That was my favorite show of all time, but man, I enjoyed Ted Lasso. I enjoyed every single bit
You
of
said
it.
that, and I can't get into it. I can't
I
get
have
into
not
it.
started.
Tried and you haven't? I have never
tried
watched
and
it.
I can't do it.
Guys.
All
Tried
right.
and I can't do
I've
it.
heard good
It
things.
is the feel good. You have to get past the first couple episodes,
Okay.
but then you really like it.
So you're saying
I don't
go
know.
in 2.
Just-
and then after that, it's going to get.
I think it just
way
gets
hooked.
better.
See
And
what-
it's so funny and it's so heartfelt.
At least it's 2 episodes, because sometimes people are like, "Yeah, get past the first season." You're like,
no, no,
"What?"
no. No, you just get into it a little bit and you start to get to know the people, and then you realize
Okay.
just like it has so much heart. And it was like everything I felt like I needed, especially during the pandemic, where I was like everything feels
Yeah.
like it's wrong, and this is like a beautiful show about people doing things right.
That was me with Great British Baking Show.
Yes, I
during
watched-
the pandemic. Gosh, that show is just.
I'm always watching
It's joyful. I watched the newer
It's
ones. I watched like
beautiful,
Mel and
right?
Sue, where the two
Yeah.
hosts, the 2 gals. But man, it's just like they're just British people baking.
And there's no like, yes, they're in a competition, but they're like nice to each other.
Oh,
They're, like,
yeah.
helping each other out, and I'm like, oh,
They win
need
like
more
a,
of this.
a glass plate at the end.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they win money.
Nope. You just want
Just
a plate.
yeah, and they're funny.
A cake stand.
Yeah,
cake
yeah,
stand.
a cake plate. Yeah, I was gonna say because this is gonna hurt the 2 behind the camera because I've attempted to watch The Office and Parks and Rec, and I can't do
get into
it.
that either.
And those 2
I
love
can't do
it.
it. The offices, I'm like, I see it, I'm like, oh, there's some funny parts, but I'm just not being able to
I
get
know
through
the
it.
memes are funny, the GIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to call them, those are funny, and I use those a lot. But no, can't do it.
I can sit and watch Big Bang Theory like all the time.
Oh, my
And
mom
just
loves
sit
that show.
that.
My
If
mom
it's always
loves that
on,
show.
it's just always funny for me and all that. And I just have his background,
Yeah.
so. And then some
feel
of them
like-
behind the screen is like Friends. Nobody knows about
love
Friends
Friends.
anymore. And I'm like, oh, it's a great show. So.
Yeah, I know. So I have weird taste in television, but we binge watch things like Game of Thrones. And
Oh, yeah.
stuff like
Oh,
that.
great.
Great show.
Yeah.
Did you watch House of
Yeah.
Dragon then too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was also good. It was very good.
You know,
probably
over here,
that
I'm like,
and,
I didn't
like,
watch those.
Yellowstone is probably the other one we binge a lot.
So have you watched
And all of the series surrounding
so
that.
1883,
Oh, yeah.
1923, we're waiting for another season.
1923 has probably been my favorite in that whole thing. Better than Yellowstone to me.
Yeah, and,
It was
and
awesome.
like great actors, each
Awesome.
one.
There's
Awesome.
There's 2 ones that are based off years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
1883 is
I thought
how
it was just that
that's how
one.
it started.
Yes.
How
Oh,
they got there. And then 1923 is just jumping forward and
Like in the middle.
the family and all that.
And it ended on the biggest cliffhanger ever, and I cannot wait.
which one's Tim McGraw?
to regards in 1883.
Oh, okay.
83.
That's
Yeah.
all I know.
So, which is great. That was like one
One and done.
series and
Yeah.
it's done because they get there.
Oh.
So if nobody's watched it, sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But
Across the street.
yeah, but it, great. Yeah, we
Yeah.
powered through those, and then like Yellowstone is so good. But then
Yes.
still waiting for 1923 for
Yes,
Obviously.
that one is like, was like
the next
best
season of
the
that.
3 of
And
those.
it's, yeah, I thought it was very good.
Yeah,
So,
very, very good.
Best place of vacation.
Or where's your favorite?
I mean, I know you want to say
Best-
Fargo.
The
Yeah.
best place
So-
I've ever been
Yes.
was Norway.
Okay.
My mom had a friend that just came back from there and said it was
We went-
phenomenal.
We went as part of our honeymoon, and we rented a motorcycle and rode around the fjords on a motorcycle, and it was truly the most spectacular scenery I have ever seen,
Yep.
and very few tourists, which we were just alone sometimes, staring at the most beautiful things I'd ever seen,
It's awesome.
and it was spectacular, and I would go back in a heartbeat.
I would say I love San Diego. If there's ever any excuse to go to San Diego, I go. Yeah. so I
My
would
sister
say
went
that.
there for her honeymoon. She
Yeah,
loved it.
I just love it. The weather.
Yeah,
the
it's great.
beach,
It's
everything.
great.
I love
It's a great
San
area.
Yeah.
Never been.
So
Yeah.
been like it's like an hour away from LA, that area.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
have so much
awesome.
to do down
Yes.
there.
It's worth doing it.
Yeah.
So fun. I feel like it has like more of a small town feel in yet areas.
It does.
So you're not like this big
Yeah.
city.
And then you can like go up and go to like Disneyland
Yeah.
for the day and,
And they've
come
got
back.
like 1,000 places to eat seafood tacos.
Yes.
Which is
Oh, yeah.
basically my favorite thing to do. So
Yes.
So
Yeah, anytime you can hop around.
I had the
different
best
food places.
tacos of my life in
Yep.
San Diego.
Yeah.
One time, yeah. So good.
I had good ones when we went to Long Beach one year.
Yeah.
At that place down where we eat the margaritas and like the
forget.
goblet,
Oh.
by the water.
I feel
remember
like
what it's
that's
called,
a
but-
that's a good taco area.
Yeah,
Long
yeah,
Beach.
Long Beach,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Tequila Jacks down there.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I think that might be the place. It was really good.
Yeah. We had a
Back
lot
in
of
the
chicken
day in the
sauce.
trade show circuit
Trade show,
day.
Yeah.
Yep, did a lot of those. Do you guys attend trade shows or go to any of them?
not often. But
I
don't
really
know.
stopped like pandemic time, and I just have not.
Yeah.
Pick it back up. Not missing much, I don't think.
You guys go and then you tell us what's hot, and then we
Yeah.
do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
like.
relay the
And
message.
we attend a couple shows a year, but it's I don't miss it. I don't
Yeah.
miss being on the road and all, as much as we were before. So.
I feel like Printing United is like on my bucket list. I feel like I want to go.
Oh,
at
my
least
shirt's in
once. And
Vegas,
it's
so-
not.
It's so
not that
massive.
So it's
far.
in Vegas?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
easier
they
to get
rotate-
to.
they
It's
rotate
They
so
those
rotate.
easier
every
to
year.
So
get
I
to.
need
Next
to.
year's
I need to go
Vegas.
to Atlanta.
I need to go to
in
Vegas.
Probably-
Well, I can meet you.
in
Vegas
Vegas.
flights are cheap.
Vegas flights are cheap. I can get there directly
Yeah.
from Bellingham.
It's
so
it's
that's nice.
massive though. Like it's such a big show, and there's machines the size of this
room.
room that we're
Wow.
in, and you're like
That blew Lexi's mind. Yeah, she was
you're like, wow, this is this. I'm like, yeah, it's like everything printing from just catalogs to everything you can imagine. So it is
Yeah.
pretty
wraps, all
massive.
that.
So
Boards.
it is like we walked the show floor for 2 days, and still you're like, yeah, I didn't see you there. I'm like, yeah.
I bet you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
did
it's
not.
just so big. You know, there's $1 million machines in there. So very impressive. What is something you wish would come back?
I wish I had the time and the ability, like, to sit down and scrapbook again. Like,
Scrapbooking.
I don't
yeah, that was
anymore.
Yeah.
And I could. I mean, obviously I could if I wanted. But, like, do I print all of my photos anymore? You know, you go to the little 1 hour quick develop and you're like, are the photos good enough for the scrapbook? I always just really enjoyed the process. But now, I'm like, I don't have every night of the week to spend.
You think about like how often, like how do you, when do we print
Yeah.
photos anymore?
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're like, oh, we're gonna put
I
some
know.
up on the
I keep
wall at
saying
home,
I need-
and
I keep saying I need to.
everybody goes, yeah, I guess we'll have to go print them.
Yeah.
You know, you go
I
through the phone and
we
everything's
just
in your
did
hand.
That.
Yeah.
We just got some family photos printed
So
from years ago. So we finally got them up on the wall in our hallway, and I was like, look at that, we exist as a family.
We live here.
We live in this house.
That's when, like, I feel like everything does come back. Like, so she was talking about childhood, and I started crafting with like cross stitching, but it has come back as like this crazy embroidery, like
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the
That's
amazing
true.
things they're creating. But scrapbooking is something that may not come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, tangible stuff. sometimes
Yeah.
isn't-
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, back in the day, I had friends. They had big scrapbooks
huge
and all this
albums.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like, look at, we did this whole trip and all this, and I'm like,
Yeah, it was from vacations.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just tired from like how much time you put in that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
look
but they're-
great,
some
but
of
then
them are
like
beautiful,
now where
yeah.
do they go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
You know, so it's
Yeah, there used to
also
be, I mean, obviously the Michaels of the world is still that, but there used to be like specific,
Yeah,
just
scrapbook
store that, like just paper
Yes.
Yeah.
stickers.
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
I always
wow.
really liked paper crafts. I still like paper crafts in general. Like my favorite thing to cut on a Cricut is paper.
Really?
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I like making,
So do you make a bunch of cards and stuff too?
I like
or?
making cards. I like making flowers. I like making banners. I don't know. I think cardstock's just really easy because it's cheap, and if you screw it up, it's easy to start over.
So being that what you guys do, do you make stuff for people, or are you just like, you know what, that's my job now, I don't want to make stuff, I'll go buy it?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, I do a little bit of both. Because what we do, it's hard because you make so much, and of course
Yeah.
you can't give it all to people. But I do want to make things specific for people, just so they have it. Like my grandkids, right? So I have 3 grandkids, and I want to make sure to I try to make them something, and that way they have it if they want to keep it or whatever.
Nice.
Like,
yeah. I try and do that whenever I have to make something here that it can be for somebody.
Yeah,
Yes.
I also
So I'm
do
just
that.
like, here you go.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's not just random name or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because it's hard doing what we do. Like I create every single day, and so I have to find people.
Yes.
How do you stay inspired? How do each of you guys stay inspired to keep making stuff?
I don't know. I feel like it's for me. I'm not necessarily like what's the thing I should make, but it's what is the process I want to teach,
Ooh.
or what is the machine I want people to learn about, or that sort of thing. And then I kind of come up with a project to go with whatever the thing is I want to teach. So often I'm not like, let's see how to make this thing. It's let me show you how to use a heat press, and in the process of using this heat press, we're going to make a simple project.
That's cool.
Yeah, or even I want to, one of my recent videos was sublimation mouse pads, and I want to show my tips and tricks for making a sublimation mouse pad, and that's where I start, and then I'm like, what can I put on this?
Yeah, same thing.
So it's sort of backwards, and then to your point, can anyone in my life actually use a sublimation mouse pad, or is it all of these for me? Because I also make multiples usually when I'm filming. Yeah.
So, inspiration-wise, obviously, do you listen to your viewers, your fans? Is that some of that times they'll be
Yeah.
like, hey,
Facebook groups are big.
Yeah.
What are people starting to craft?
okay,
That sort of thing. What new tech is coming out, like new Cricut machine or new type of heat press or new material, those sorts of things.
And I would say if I'm getting the question more than a few times, it needs to be a video.
Clearly needs to be addressed, yeah.
Yeah, some people are wondering and not willing to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then other people are didn't know they had that problem, and yes, you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people are asking, then I need to make content around it as well.
Yeah, there's also a lot of I think we both do a lot of troubleshooting sort of videos as well, because it's okay, I taught you how to do this technique or whatever, and then they're I'm having these problems. Okay, well here's the troubleshooting video for if you're having
for
issues
that.
with that. So
that's amazing. All stuff helps because it's just having that out there and being able to have that guide. And obviously, I think more and more people are visual over reading and everything else. So I think it's pretty amazing, how that's out there and it's
Yeah.
available to them. So, well, again, I want to thank you both for coming to Fargo and being with us on Beyond the Rolls and joining us. And obviously, exciting stuff coming. We're doing some fun here and everything else, and we certainly appreciate you coming to Fargo.
yeah.
Okay, thank you for having us.